Are you ready to take your business to the next level and make the money you want so that you can create the impact you desire? Then you're in the right place. It's possible to run a successful business built around your life. Get ready for a little bit of tough love and a whole lot of strategy to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. If you're ready to get out of your own way and step into the role of CEO, then let's go. I'm Amy Traw, and this is the Motivated CEO Podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated CEO Podcast. Today's conversation, I am looking forward to it because we're talking about something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. And the one day Natalie posted a story on Instagram talking about this, and I'm like, yes, I totally resonate. We need to talk about this. We need to have this conversation because it's a topic that I feel as though a lot of us are dealing with, going through, but nobody's really saying out loud. So with that being said, Natalie, I'm so excited to have you here today to have this conversation about just that messy middle, that transition, those pivots that we all go through, that evolution as a business owner. But before we dive in, I would love for you to share more about yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
I'm Natalie Barnett. I'm a business coach and I'm an EFT practitioner. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And it's a modality that really helps on the subconscious level for you to kind of attack these limiting beliefs that are holding you back so that you can kind of minimize them, reduce them. Eventually over time, they go bye-bye, and then you create new ones that are more empowering. I really love this modality because it's the closest thing to like a quick fix as there is. As we know, there are no quick fixes. But you can really feel a lot of relief by doing this modality. And tapping is just using different, there's different energy meridians on your body, and you'll tap on those, repeating affirmations. But first, you're going to tap out the beliefs that you don't want. And you just go, there's a sequence, and I do videos that people can just follow along with. I can do them for like a general audience, and I do them for individuals as well. I also coach people in their businesses. I coach women primarily, online businesses, and some brick and mortars as well, to make sure that their business structure and strategy is aligned with what they really, really want, and not just kind of what everybody else says they should want. And so that's what I do professionally. I am also a mom of three. I have a 14-year-old son, a 12-year-old daughter, and a 9-year-old daughter. So we're in a really fun age of parenting where it's like, yes, I'm driving all over the place to all the different places, but they're so fun, so funny, so witty, and we have a lot of fun. So I'm loving that. I'm in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I like to say that's like where colonial Williamsburg, where they churn the butter. And I live right down the street from Pocahontas, and we just hang out all the time. No, but I love I love living here. I grew up outside of DC and have lived here for almost 20 years at this point. So that's a little bit about me. And I just noticed you have a picture of Paris, like the Eiffel Tower, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
wearing my Paris sweatshirt today. So I
No
feel like this is a
way.
good vibes going on.
I love it. I forget what birthday I celebrate, but I was actually in Paris one year on my birthday, and that's a picture that my husband took. And I'm like, that's really cool. And I mean, this is back before like the age of like all the digital cameras. So it's like take a picture and hope it turns out okay. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, you've got some skills there, sir. I didn't know you could do that. So,
seriously, it
yes,
looks beautiful.
love it. Well, thank you so much. Now, I would love to talk about your journey. Like, how the heck did you end up here? Because as you were talking in your stories, like there's been some pivots along the way. And I think that as entrepreneurs, we need to normalize that it's in
Yeah.
taking the action that we gain the clarity and realize, okay, this is exactly what I meant to do. What did your journey look like?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I can go way, way back to I did gymnastics competitively growing up. And then my first job was coaching gymnastics. And I was the oldest child as well. These all weave in, I promise. The oldest child of three, and I was about 7.5 years older than my brother, who's our youngest. And I remember helping him to something as simple as how to eat. He didn't eat any scrambled eggs. My mom wanted him to eat eggs, get some protein, okay? He wouldn't eat them. And so I just like came up with this idea. I'm gonna put cheese on them and I'm gonna call them weasels. I'm like, I don't know, I'm probably 10 and he's 3. And he ate them. He ate those scrambled eggs, and I was like, huh. It was like the first light bulb moment of, you know what? I if I kind of just tweak the language a little bit, change the perspective a little bit, I can help people to take actions that are actually helpful for them and healthy for them. So that was like my first time playing with language. And then I moved forward into gymnastics coaching, and I remember just being able to paint a visual picture for my gymnasts to help them with a specific technique. Like when you hear the bar, the uneven bars make that sound, that means you let go too early. So you just want to hold on a little longer and just kind of paint pictures of, you know, how the pendulum swings this way back and forth. You want to be that pendulum. And so I was using language in a way that was able to paint a different picture for people to see what it is, like a different way of doing whatever it is that they were trying to do. So then it moved into I started my entrepreneurial journey in network marketing, which a lot of people do. And I kind of, you know, I that was very much scripted. That was very much like, here's how you do it, and here's how you not do it. And so it didn't feel that comfortable to me, but it did, of course, stretch and grow me. And then I decided I want to really learn how to help people with their nutrition in a sustainable, long-term, kind of common sense way, and not a, you know, quick fix kind of way. And so I became a nutrition coach. And that's when I learned that it's more than just eat this, don't eat that. Here's your portions. It's a lot of mindset. It's what's going on in between those ears of yours. So I went back into, okay, how can I use language? How can I change their perspective a little bit in order to help them with their mindset? And so I dove into behavior change. I learned about EFT tapping. I got certified in EFT tapping. And as that progressed, this was the most recent pivot, is that nutrition coaching morphed into business coaching for business owners, first kind of helping them with their health so that they can show up to be better business owners, but then working with their mindset to help them make better decisions, and more empowered decisions for themselves. So that's my most recent pivot, is into mindset coaching, really leaning into the modality of EFT tapping. And I'm learning neurolinguistic programming and just different techniques to help people to decode their mind a little bit. So, whew, full circle. Here I am. I think this is the last pivot, but who knows? We'll see how it goes.
Well, and I think too, just keeping yourself open to those different opportunities, because if you hadn't had that experience being the big sister, figuring out, oh my gosh, I'm really good at this, which then you use that strength coaching others in gymnastics, and then you leverage that in your network marketing. Each one of these little mile markers along your journey really was providing more and more evidence to your subconscious that, you know what, like I'm really, really good at this. And I think we don't give ourselves credit for it. You know, a lot of times we look back and we view these things as quote unquote failures. And it's like, no, it's just providing us different information along the way and guiding us to where we can create the most impact on the world. And like you said, you know, mindset is so, so key. And that was something as a business owner, when I was starting out, I was not ready for. I feel like entrepreneurship has been the biggest personal development journey of my life. But it's really in having that objective lens to look at your life experiences through. Your life experiences are what qualify us, right? Like that's what really gets us to the next level, is leaning into and embracing those strengths and having the awareness that, okay, I'm really good at this. What comes easy to me doesn't come easy to other people. And that was a big mindset shift I had to make when I was working in, you know, building these businesses. I realized sales was always something that I struggled with because I didn't want to put myself out there. But when I realized and I had that mindset shift that I've been selling my whole career. Yes, I come from a career in healthcare, but I've literally been empowering and educating others to achieve the success they desire my entire career. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, all I'm doing is doing the same thing that I've been doing. I'm selling them on the outcome that they want, that they have determined. It was the same thing when somebody would walk into the clinic after a knee replacement. Okay, what are your goals? What do you hope to achieve? All right, well, we can reverse engineer anything to make it happen. And often I think that as entrepreneurs, we're afraid to pivot because we think it's almost a failure. When in reality, pivoting is necessary because I don't know about you, but I'm certainly not the same person. I don't have the same knowledge. I have more knowledge, more self-awareness than I did first starting out in business. So I think pivots were actually important and part of the growth process. What's your take on that?
100%. I think we make it a big deal, right? It's like a
Yeah.
buzzword almost like, oh, I'm pivoting. And it makes it sound like you're starting over from scratch. But really, you never are starting over. You're taking everything that you've learned, all those lessons from those so called failures, right? They're just feedback, and you're moving that into your next experience. It's only going to make you better and stronger. Are there going to be more challenges, different challenges? Yes, you're going to come up against different challenges, but I'm of the belief that we didn't come here to have an easy ride and just like have it handed to us. I really do believe that a lot of the satisfaction and the joy comes from the pursuit of it and the growth and evolution. But that again, that I mean, it comes from my number one personal value is growth. So sometimes there's two sides to that, right? Growth is fun, it's exciting, but it's also scary and can be frustrating and sometimes a little bit painful. But yeah, you have to embrace those changes, those transformations. And then I think what you said earlier is just give yourself credit for it. Give yourself credit for everything you've done. And I think we kind of forget to do that.
Oh, 100% we do. We forget to celebrate how much we've accomplished, what we've done. We're so focused on what we haven't achieved that we lose sight on the amazing things that we have achieved. Often we're living what was once a dream. Like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be cool if one day I could leave my 9 to 5 job? Yep, I did it. But what happens is we keep moving that goalpost because our brains are just designed to keep us safe. So, yes, you're absolutely right. When we come up against that resistance, it's hard. It's scary. Our brain wants to keep us safe. So then we end up self sabotaging and we don't grow, which limits our impact on others. And something you mentioned that was awesome was an analogy about a train. Do you remember that on your stories? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I think about this a lot because this is what it feels like to
Yeah.
me. Trains they're on a track. They're on one direction. They move in one direction. They don't weave back and forth in traffic lanes or fly over things. So you are on, imagine you're on a track and you're this train on a track and you're chugging right along. You're probably picking up steam too, because whether you are in love with what you're doing right now, or you're kind of dwindling in that, or you can't stand it at all, you have momentum built in this business or endeavor that you're in right now. And when you come to that realization of, oh gosh, if I keep going on this track, I'm going to get to a destination that I don't really want to go to. So what are your choices? We can't just stop short and turn left. We have to we slow it down. We slow down the train on the track, and then we get to the point where we feels like we are dead stopped. And we're going to go back in a different direction. Or maybe you're one of those they kind of switch tracks and you can kind of veer off a little bit to the side. But like you have to pick up steam in the other direction. And I think we remember what it felt like to be in momentum in the old business, the old endeavor, the old career, whatever, the old relationship, whatever it is. Remember what that momentum felt like, and we think there's something wrong with this choice that we've made to pivot and go in a different direction because we don't feel that momentum yet. We have to remember it takes time to pick up steam and action, as you mentioned, to keep on going and going and going, and just trust that, like, hey, it worked last time. I picked up momentum and I was chugging right along. I'm going to do it again. So that was just something that I thought in my mind. I'm like, yeah, you can't just stop short and and then pick up speed right where you were. You have to you have to start somewhere and keep on building it up.
That is such a perfect analogy. And the thing I love most about it is that you say, okay, I haven't picked up momentum yet. It takes time. And in our society, in this on demand culture that we're living in, it's easy to get stuck in comparison mode, to scroll
Mhm.
social media and be like, well, everybody else is doing the thing and I'm not achieving the thing. So it must mean something about me. We internalize it. But really, learning to trust yourself is so, so key. And that's a not an easy thing to do because it's new level, new devil, right? So
Yeah.
each time we achieve this next version of ourselves, this next success, there's going to be that trust that we have to build in ourselves that we are capable. And exactly as you said, we can be building momentum in the wrong direction. So
Yeah.
it's so, so key to be able to identify when you're starting to do that. How have you in your past businesses been able to identify, okay, you know what? Something's starting to feel a little off here, and be able to identify those early signs of, okay, I think that I'm ready to start pivoting. I'm ready to take that risk and trust myself.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so for when I started in network marketing, like going from a traditional job to a business model that it was very brand new to me, I was that was just sheer. I was exhausted. I was working so much, and I wanted a better work life balance. And I thought, hey, here is an opportunity to do that. And, I got in there, there's no shade to that industry. I honestly am not one of those people that have shade to that industry. I think it gave me so much, and there are people who do it really, really well, and I think they're amazing. For me, I still was feeling that, like, never enoughness. It's, like, never gonna be enough. It's never gonna be enough, and I'm like, "I didn't start this to feel that way." So,
Yeah.
it's really like that. So it was more of, like, an internal, knowing, like, just an inner knowing of, well, if this isn't it, what might possibly be it? And just kind of widening my lens a little bit. And I said, well, why don't I just try going into business for myself, for something that I create. And then I just chose a place where I was passionate. I was passionate about nutrition. I still am. I still love, telling people how to help feed their bodies and fuel their minds. And so I just started. There's that saying that it's not always ready, aim, fire. It's ready, fire, aim. Because
Yes.
if you don't take action and try something, you're never going to do it, number one. And number two, you're not going to learn the lessons that you need in order to refine where you need to go. So that was my ready, fire, aim moment where I started my own nutrition business, and then eventually it got to the point of like, if I have to talk about macros one more time, if I have to do that, if I have to tell people, women that it's not, maybe you actually need to eat more food, you're not eating enough food, that kind of thing. It kind of became like a little bit of a burdensome feeling to me. I'm like, okay, I don't want to feel that way. Energy is everything. If you sell anything, energy is everything. If you coach anybody, your energy better be behind it. So I was just slowly realizing my energy wasn't behind it. So, but this one, I definitely was ready. Aim, aim, aim.
Yes.
Aim. And then finally was like, oh, I gotta do it, fire. And this one took a little bit longer. And this is the pivot that I was talking about on that day on my stories. That I finally was like, okay, I can't keep up with this feeling that it's not right for me. So I have to chase it. I have to go and start anew. And I think the honest truth behind it was that I was afraid. I
Yeah.
knew that it was going to be time to re-educate my audience on what it is I do now, because that takes time. And but what outweighed the fear of changing and trying something new was that thought of staying on that train track to the destination that I wasn't going to be fully excited or empowered or fulfilled by. So just had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, acknowledging that that fear is present and going through it and doing it anyways. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is so, so scary. And I've been through multiple pivots in my business journey. But every time I've done it, it's almost like a weight is lifted because now I can focus my energy into something that is even better, using everything I've learned to collapse time. But so often we're getting these signs all around us and we're fighting them because
Yeah.
we don't trust ourselves, because we don't want to do the scary, the uncomfortable. We like that comfort. And it doesn't feel good to be a beginner again, to know
No.
that, okay, if I do this pivot, like I'm going to lose some people along the way. But detaching from the outcome and realizing at the end of the day, I have to make the decision that's best for me. This is
Yes.
truly a business decision, and it does not determine my worth as a person. My successes and my failures do not determine my worth as a person. And at the end of the day, when you start to question your failures and realize, like, okay, there's really no failure. Failure doesn't exist. It's this psychological threat that isn't even real, right? Because at the end of the day, we can figure anything out. I was just having this conversation the other day with my husband. Like literally every single challenge, obstacle, roadblock, we have figured it out over the years. You just have to take that action. And I love what you said about taking that wider view. You have to sometimes take that step back and look at the big picture and then start to take action. Because if you're just sitting in this state of indecision, gosh, it's draining, it's
Yeah.
exhausting. And I've been there. And I've gotten to the point now, I still remember years ago getting called out by my life coach on this. She's like, Amy, not making a decision is making a decision. I'm like, oof, yep, that just hit home hard. And I still carry that with me to this day, to the point now where I just make those decisions and I take that massive action. And honestly, that's created more momentum than anything. I just
Yeah.
learning to give myself permission to build a business on my terms because we don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And so many of us are shooting our lives away, right? Like we're
Yeah.
doing things we should do because that's what the guru said we should do. But it's like, okay, does this work for you? You know, we compare ourselves to these massive powerhouse entrepreneurs, you know, the Amy Porterfields, the Jenna Kutchers of the world that have these huge teams behind them, that they're literally just acting as the face of the brand now.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different for us, and that's okay. Bringing your audience along on that journey is so powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, honestly, we have to show up. That's why I went on there. I was like, this feels weird to, vulnerable to share all this on stories, but I am fully aware that there are people watching me. I've got clients that are watching me. I've got people who I don't even know that are
Yeah.
watching me. And God forbid they're seeing the powerhouses out there doing all the things, and that's very inspirational. But the thing that really drives me is people, women especially, thinking that they don't even try, they don't even start, or they get started, do what they think they should do, it doesn't work or it doesn't work fast enough, and then they think there's something wrong with them and they quit. That's literally why I'm in business right now, is because I want to dissolve all of those obstacles that are in the way of women pursuing a business that they love and that is profitable for them. But I can't do that if I'm not sharing the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Like going through a pivot, is cash flow affected? Yeah. Do I have to make some difficult decisions on where I invest things? Yes. Am I doing more on my own right now as I move and pick up steam in the other direction? 100%. And having those tools, well, like EFT tapping and just different mindset tools that help me to recalibrate and almost poke fun of these beliefs. When you say them out loud, like nobody wants to listen to me. I'm the worst person alive. You're like, you're the worst person alive? Really? Oh, I don't know about that. And you can tap on these emotions and free them from your body. It makes it a whole lot easier. But we have to show both sides. Like it is, the victories are amazing, the highs are great, the lows are low, and everywhere in between, we have to find the joy in all of it.
Oh, so good. And it humanizes our brand. That's
Yeah.
what's going to draw in those ideal fit clients because you're attracting those that you resonate with. And then those that you aren't for, they're going to unfollow. And that's okay. That's the goal. You want to attract those like minded clients that are aligned, that are fun to work with, that aren't draining. But it's hard to put ourselves out there because, like you said, that fear of judgment. We know that people are watching. And at the end of the day, we want to be accepted. We don't want to be kicked out of the tribe. We seek that safety in acceptance. But it's so important that you accept yourself because when you accept yourself, when you put yourself out there just authentically as you, share those challenges, not just the filtered version. That's what draws people in. And honestly, like that's what creates those connections. That's like you said, you got more engagement on that post when you're just like, you know what? I'm just sharing this. This is like what's happening in real time. Here's where I'm at. Guess what? It resonates with people. It
It does.
resonates with people. It makes you human. And that's what's going to set you apart from these large powerhouses and draw your people to you because she sees me. She gets me. She's just like me. I want to link arms with her on this journey.
Exactly. Exactly. And I really appreciate you because, listening to your podcast and bringing the refreshing point of view that you do, that is, you always are supportive and you always are, that tone of I've been there, I've got you, but also something you need to hear is this. And you boldly share it. And I really appreciate that. And that's what draws me to you. And so you're going to find those people that really speak to you and draw you in, and whoever's listening, you get to be that person for somebody else too. But we can't do that if we are too afraid to get out there and just share messy, make bad content, get on stories without makeup and tell people that you're pivoting and you're feeling like you're on a train going in the wrong direction,
Yes.
right?
Oh my gosh. This was such an awesome conversation, Natalie. You are amazing. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me and have this conversation because so many of us are going through the same thing. We need to hear this. We need to normalize this and say, hey, it's okay. Like we've all pivoted. It's okay. It's leading us to create that bigger impact. How can we get into your world? How can we find you? What do you have going on?
Well, thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be on your podcast. It's a wonderful podcast, and I'm so excited to be here. I love Instagram. Instagram is like my favorite place to be. So I'm just at Natalie Barnett. It's two T's in Barnett. And I love sending out on my email list every single week. You get some embodied wisdom. My podcast is The Embodied Entrepreneur. And then every single month, I have a free EFT video that I send out to my email list. So I'll send you guys that link so that people can just get on there. It's absolutely free. And every month, it'll be a different issue that we tap through. I think you get a free one right away when you sign up. And I believe it's the Tapping into Abundance
Ooh,
tapping video. So you'll just tap along with me. And yeah, that's what I got going on. You can find me over there. Please come say hi. I love talking to people on
yes.
Instagram. So I'd love to say hi.
Honestly, like that just makes my day. I think too, as a podcaster, you put this information out there into the universe and you're like, who's on the other side hearing this? So, yes, slide into Natalie's DMs. Tell her that you heard her speaking on the Motivated CEO podcast. Literally, like that makes our day. So, I know you can totally relate when you get that feedback too from listeners. So, check it out. Everything's linked up in the show notes. And Natalie, thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Amy.
And until next time, cheers to making the money you want so that you can create the impact you desire. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.